All right, you got a few people in here. Somebody in the chat in YouTube just confirmed you got audio. Just want to make sure you can hear me because we had issues in the past. It looks like everything's working, but just confirm everything's working. But in the YouTube chat. Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, wait, hopefully there's no loop again. Let's see. All right, good. Sweet. Yeah, the other times we had a loop where I had, like the YouTube, like this. So I had this just playing on my screen, but I had my speakers muted, but it was still coming through on the software side of things. It was coming through YouTube back into the recording software, even though I couldn't hear it, and it was creating this really annoying loop. Give it a few more minutes. Let's let a few more people join. I don't really get that many people in my live streams. Usually it's like 15, 20 people at the most. But give it a few more minutes. I got to go take my chicken cordon bleu out of the oven. So give me 1 minute, and then we can get started. We'll see how many more people will join in the next minute or so. All right. I'll be right back. Perfect. I got a half hour for my food to cook, so that'll be right when we finish up with this public stream, then we can move on and do a private group stream, go over all the plays from yesterday, some of which are Get out of there. I know you. You're up to no good. You're going to pee on something. Come on, baby. Come on. Say what, Papa? All right, yeah, we got like 13 people. Whatever, that's fine. If people miss out, they miss out. Fuck them. Make sure everybody for the live stream. Let me take a look over here. So last night we had some good plays. Let me Just pull up some of those so I can look at them. Hey, no girl, don't do that. No dickies. My puppy likes to dig in everything. No, you're ruining the couch. Stop. Come on, baby. Don't do that. It's like ripping apart our couch. Little terror tornado you are. APPC broke out nicely. That's going to start another wave, so that's nice. It actually went up to the exactly to the prior top, so that was perfect. This is where I had it drawn from right there, so that ended up coming out perfectly. Check something else. I will show you a couple of the plays that I got into last night and how they worked out, and then I want to give you an explanation how I came up with those plays and how you can come up with plays just like that, because you can make good money without risking a lot at all. It's a very, very easy strategy to master. I mean, it takes time, of course. You're going to have to spend the time to learn about the concepts and how to implement them, but strategy is very easy once you get the hang of it. You just need to know how to find the plays. There's no strategy beyond that. You don't need to worry about when to get in or out. You just need to learn how to identify these potential plays. Once you do that, you're going to hit the ground running. You just need to learn that small portion, and once you, well, that's the hard part, but once you learn that, you'll be doing very well. Fuck it, I'll just post a link. So all these people just DM'd me on YouTube and asked how to find the link. I'm not used to Discord. I don't know how to find the link you posted. It's in the public chat. Where's the public chat? All right, I'm gonna just post it on Twitter, and then other people can join us. Let's see, where is that? Okay, that should do it. Okay, so for those, let's just start. Okay, video playback interrupted. What happened? No, I think it's okay. I was looking at an old stream. Let me close that one down. All right. We'll let a few more people join, but let me just give you a quick spiel. So just so you guys know, my name's Jesse. I don't hide my identity or anything like other people on Twitter. So that's why I get so pissed off when people say things like, "Oh, you have this paid group and you're shady or scammer and all this shit." I'm super sensitive to it because it's just not how I am. So that's why I post stuff like that. Like, don't call me a shill or this or that. It's because it just couldn't be further from the truth. Anybody who knows me knows that. My name's Jesse Feinberg. I share my personal profile and stuff. Like, I don't hide anything. I love to talk about personal stuff. My wife's pregnant with twins. I'm super excited about that, so I talk about that. I talk about personal stuff on my crypto Twitter and everything. I'm I'm a person. I'm not just some machine who's sitting there pumping out plays, crypto plays. So that's why it really pisses me off, and I post stuff whenever there's like a troll that's giving me a hard time. I tell people that's not who I am. So just ask me, talk to me, and you'll learn that that's not how I am. I'm a person just like you, and I happen to be really good at this. And as far as having a premium group, a paid group, doesn't mean that anybody's shady. I can't speak for other people who have paid groups, but just so you know how mine came to be, I had everything for free, and I love doing free content. I still have a free group. I still put tons of content out on Twitter, right? I gave you the lunar play last night on Twitter. But a bunch of people that were in my free group and everything were asking me to teach them how to trade like me and teach them my strategy. I didn't have time to do that. I'm an IT engineer, and I design really high-end networks and implement them. So I didn't have time to really dedicate myself to doing the crypto stuff. So they said, do a paid group. So what happened was I set up the paid group. I got money from people who were willing to pay me, and they wanted to contribute. So they gave me money, and then I didn't have to I didn't have to schedule as much work for my regular job. So I just didn't call my clients as often and tell them, hey, do you guys need anything? Because I had some money, so I didn't need that money. That freed me up, so I was able to dedicate myself more to doing a group and everything. And that's the genesis of my paid group. It wasn't me sitting in my mom's basement saying, how can I rip somebody off? How can I steal money from unsuspecting children? Mwahaha! People came to me, adults came to me and said, hey, we really like what you do. I want you to teach me. I'll give you some money and chip in if you're able to spend more time teaching us. And I did. So that's the genesis of my paid group, like I said. I can't speak for other people, but when anybody says something like, oh, this Vader guy is a paid group and he's a scumbag, now you'll know the truth. That's not remotely true. And now you guys know that. And if you have any questions about who I am or how I roll, feel free to ask me. I answer everybody's DMs. You could always hit me up. I'm happy to fill you in if you ever have questions, and if you just need help with crypto stuff. I love doing this, and I love helping people. That's really why I do this, is to help people. So come talk to me, ask me any questions you have, and I'd be more than happy to discuss this stuff with you. So now that that's out of the way, let's go over some basic stuff. I wanted to share with you, you guys have probably seen me post how nobody asked you to start a paid group. Were you being serious? You're just fucking with me, right? Oh, come on, dude. LOL, dude, your name. You have to be fucking with me. Anyway, yeah, strategy-wise, it's critical to be able to limit your risk, and my entire strategy is designed around limiting risk. You see, that's how much it pisses me off. This is really fucking annoying me that this dude said that. Are you serious or not? Just tell me, because if you're seriously saying that and not just fucking with me, then you're a fucking idiot, because you didn't hear what I just said at all. I'm fucking up my whole mood. All right. No, but that's the thing. Don't mind him, they said. It really genuinely bothers me. Even if someone's like, just ignore the trolls online, even just one asshole bothers me. If one person thinks something about me, because I always said that the only thing worse than doing something bad and getting caught is when you get caught for something you didn't do. So when someone blames you for something you didn't actually do, that's the worst, because it's like, I didn't even do it. If you're going to be mad at me for one of the stupid things I've done, because I've done lots of them. Just don't be mad at me for the one thing I didn't do. All right, so anyway, back to the grind. My entire strategy revolves around risk. I'm constantly looking for ways to limit risk and mitigate risk. And here's a good example. I had a very successful strategy where I would trade with stop losses on everything. I would use stop losses like a science to always lower my risk every time, in every way I could. And then my strategy evolved. Binance gave us all these new USDT pairings, and then I came up with an entirely new strategy, which is when you're not sure about what the market's going to do, just stick to the USDT pairings. And then I was able to reduce my risk and reduce my exposure even more. Because it used to be I would have stop losses on trades, and if I got stopped out, if the price dropped and my stop loss order triggered, I would get stopped out back into BTC. Now I would have Bitcoin, and if Bitcoin happened to be plummeting in price at the same time, which is what caused the alts to go down, then I'm still losing money because I'm back in Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin doesn't go down as much as the other ones, so you're not taking as much of a loss. Also, as soon as you get stopped out, you can sell from Bitcoin back into Tether, and now you're no longer dealing with that exposure to the Bitcoin price. So it's not a major risk, but still, that's a risk. Using USDT pairings gave me a way to eliminate that risk. So when I find If I feel like the market's going to go up, but I don't have a high level of confidence, I don't want to miss out on some big potential plays. So I look at some of the alts like ADA or ONT and now Knowles, which is one of my favorite plays, that have USDT pairings on Binance. Now I have a new tool in my arsenal. I can trade with the tethered pairing, and if I get stopped out, I'm back in tether and my money's safe. So if I get into a trade and it goes down 3%, I only lost 3%, not a penny more. And that completely eliminates that exposure. So I evolved my strategy. I added in that side of things, and now when I'm not sure about the market, I'll stick to the USDT pairings. Right now, I have a higher level of confidence because I've been calling for BTC to go on a nice little short-term run, which is exactly what's happened. I've called the last couple legs up a few times. I've called them with pretty decent accuracy, and so I've been getting into more BTC pairings. Some of the alts I really like to trade. You don't have a USDT, a tethered pairing, to be able to have a stop loss to bring you back to tether. And in those cases, I am using BTC. But I try to stick to USDT pairings whenever possible. Because again, if the market does take a huge dump, that limits my exposure, limits my risk. So let me show you a couple quick charts to explain my overall strategy. Again, my overall strategy is completely dependent on risk and fully revolves around risk in every capacity whatsoever. I'm always thinking about risk. You'll notice that all my charts, like here, I say things like, I'll enter a position with a 2% stop loss, very small risk. That's always the first thing that's on my mind. If I go to Lunar, which is a play that I posted on Twitter last night, the same thing. I said, look at this super low risk play, where my tiny itty bitty risk, that was the basis for my call on this, was the fact that it had virtually no risk whatsoever. So there's various ways to do that. You can use stop losses on every order, but you have to really be good at finding support and resistance. If you can find support and resistance, either looking at the price action and looking left, so just look at the chart and see what's happened in the past, find areas where there's high volumes of trading, or find areas where you've seen strong support. If it was moving down and then it caught a support and got a nice big rebound, that could potentially be a support zone. So you want to see if that's happened multiple times. And if you get a confluence of indicators where multiple indicators are showing you the same thing, you could have even more confidence that that's going to be a strong support. So one of the key things you're going to have to learn is finding support and resistance. Fibonacci is another tool for finding support and resistance. If you're not sure if a particular area is going to give you support, you can look at Fibonacci. So if I did like a Fibonacci retracement on Lunar, for instance, coming down from the top here, we got a really, really strong rejection when we got to this 618 retracement right there. And then we had a lot of trading when we got to this 382. It was a little bit below, a little above there. But that general vicinity was, there was a lot of trading in that area. Same thing at the 0.5. We broke through here on this spike and went up to the 618. But besides that, we had a bunch of trades where we caught a rejection or we caught a reversal right at that 0.5. So certain coins, you'll see more Fibonacci trading, which typically points to there being a lot of algo trading. Algorithms are programmed to trade based on what humans do, and humans trade based on what we perceive algos to do, or what we perceive the market data to tell us, which is that the Fibonacci is going to be particularly relevant for support and resistance. Same thing here, this 382, also the 236, depending on where you started from, strong support. Again, rejection here at this fib level. So we count on those Fibonacci levels giving us strong support or resistance areas, and that's a really helpful way of identifying support and resistance. In this particular case, I didn't need Fibonacci to find this very strong support. I just looked at the chart and I saw it. Once you do this enough, once you practice enough, that's why I said it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of energy to learn this stuff, but once you do, you can trade very, very well, very profitably, and limit your risk to a tremendous degree. So in this instance, I looked at this chart and I instantly saw this support. We had a support right there, bounced up. Support right here, bounced up. Support right here, bounced up. Support right here, bounced up. So that's 4 instances on hourly candles. Keep in mind, with an hourly candle, it's very possible that a 15-minute candle is going to have 2 or 3 supports at that same price. But since we're looking at the hourly, it condenses all 4 15-minute candles into one. And if you look closely, actually, right here, there's actually 2, the red one and the green one. So we had 2 candles that had support. Same thing here, 2 candles with support and these are hourlies. So there was a ton of support at this level. So when I saw this potential trade, we were down here below the EMAs. For those, we'll do that in another video, but for those not familiar, the 55 and 99 hour EMAs are one of my major trading strategies. That's brought me a lot of success, brought my friends and people in my group a lot of success. And this, what's beeping? I think the toaster oven's beeping. I got to check that. So we were still below the EMAs here. So I figured this was a really great opportunity to enter. I used the long tool and I figured, all right, this would be a 2% risk. So I would only be risking 2%. If I put in $1,000 into this trade, I would be risking $20. But the potential reward could be 100 or 200 or 400 or 800, depending on what this thing does. The reward could be exponentially higher, right? So since I had such a strong support right here, I was able to place a trade with my entry right here at about, 84, 85, where I only risked 2%, a tiny, tiny risk of 2%. And I had such high confidence based on all this trading prior that we weren't going to get back down and break below that support, that even though I was risking 2%, in my mind, it's like I wasn't risking anything at all. And then sure enough, look what happened. As soon as we got above the first EMA, we caught some support. Then we got rejected when we got up to the 99, bounced back down, and then we broke out. And when we broke out for 8%. Did I know that we were going to break out for 8? Well, actually, at one point it was like 13% because it shot up all the way up here. So the initial breakout was a lot more than that, which obviously I didn't sell for that. But stop doing that. I hate when TradingView does that. It locks, or it's unlocked, so some of the indicators bounce around on you. All right, let's do this just to get a quick look. So that main breakout from my entry to that main breakout was 30%. So yeah, it actually broke out to 30%, and then it came back down and settled at about 8%. So I'm 8% up on this trade now, and I'm completely risk-free. You guys have probably seen me post that before. This trade is risk-free, completely risk-free. I entered this trade with a 2% risk. Because of the skills that I've developed with a lot of practice, I'm able to spot strong supports. So I did exactly that. I found a strong support. I entered the trade just above that strong support with only a 2% risk. And then as soon as we broke out above the EMAs, I moved my stop loss up to my entry price, and now I'm risk-free. It doesn't matter. The thing could go down 70% in 10 seconds, and I will not lose a penny. People all over the market might get wrecked on a play just like that, but we're not going to lose a single fucking penny because we have a stop loss at our entry price, and we have a risk-free trade. Is that not common sense? I don't understand why other people don't trade that way. I don't understand why people criticize me or say that I don't know what I'm talking about. It is nonsensical not to take advantage of a strategy like that. It's a free trade. Imagine if somebody said, hey, let's bet on the Super Bowl. I'll give you 100 to 1 odds, but if you lose, you only have to give me $10. If you win, I'll give you $1,000. But the actual line on the game could be 1 to 1. It could be 50-50. So you end up with drastically outweighed reward over risk. So you can have an RR. In this case, the RR, I just drew this randomly, but your risk to reward ratio could be really high because you have a very small stop loss. But even beyond the small stop loss, you have to consider what happens after that initial breakout, because all it needs is to go up a few percent. Once it goes up a few percent, you move up your stop loss, and now you are 100% risk-free, and that's all it takes. So this is a key play. I just told you guys about this last night on Lunar or on Twitter. A bunch of guys got into it and made some money on it. One person actually gave me a tip, which was nice. I always appreciate that, especially with the kids on the way. Yeah, so this was a great play to show you it on because it was just a perfect example. When I posted this last night for you guys, I told you exactly what my thinking was, which is I said, check out the super duper support on the bottom for Lunar. I'm in on a trade now. I don't have a good target, which was true. I didn't know exactly where it was going to go. I just knew that it was going to go up, and I knew that it wasn't going to come down. So I had a high level of confidence that it's not going to drop below that 83.60 support. I placed a 2% stop loss, and the rest is history. I mentioned how we have a lot of strong Fibonacci trading on this particular pairing, so there's a lot of algo action, which leads me to be more confident once we get above a support that we're going to stay there. So when you get above a strong Fibonacci support, so if we see like a lot of trading, I mean, even right here, we got a rejection at the 236 right there. It just so happened it intersected with my 99 EMA. But we'll see. I mean, if we end up getting above that 236 on the next candle, it's very possible that's going to serve as a strong support. And then we can move our stop losses up again. As we move up this thing, once we get up another leg, right now I'd say we're pretty much gearing up to start a wave 3 if I was doing an EW count. Elliott wave count on here would put us at about, actually, yeah, that would, you probably could actually make this a wave 1. It could work. I don't want to dive into this and waste too much time on it. I would have to go look really closely and see if that wave 2 dips down too low to where it would invalidate it. Actually, that wouldn't work either because the bottom of wave 4 would come down too low. That would be an invalid count. But anyway, it's not important. I didn't want to do an EW count on this anyway. The point is that as it moves up and you gain more security between the price action and your supports, you'll be able to incrementally move up your stop losses. One of the other key aspects to my strategy that I wanted to share with you guys is taking profit, which I'll get back to you in 30 seconds. Hold on. All right, I have 10 minutes left on my food, so perfect. All right, I don't take stop losses anymore, pretty much, ever. Globally in Discord, because every mic. All right, hold on a second. I gotta check something for one of the guys in the group, and let me look at the chat here. And then I'll get back to that. How aggressive do you usually set your stop losses, though? And is it based on fib retracement and or extensions? Hopefully you just caught some of that from what I explained. My stop losses are usually, I aim to have between 2 and 4% as a stop loss. If I have to use more than a 4% stop loss on a trade, I'm not going to get into the trade unless I'm very, very, very confident that it's going to break out. Dickweed. Okay, let me check if you're muted. If you're muted, you probably deserved it. Did you DM me? All right, hold on. Server unmute. I did mute you because you probably had all sorts of gay sex in the background.
No, there's like someone had noise in the background, and you were testing it by muting random people, and never unmuted me.
Wow. All right. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So let me see if there's any other questions. Will you upload this video? No, I'm doing a live stream. If people can't take the time to come and attend it, then they don't necessarily have that much of an interest in what I have to say, right? So maybe I'll upload it after. We'll see. I'll think about it. You trade just like me, especially moving up stop losses. You probably don't. Yeah, I move my stop losses up to Daniel here, to my entry price. That's purely to get to risk-free status. Once I move up my stop loss to my entry price, it's 100% risk-free. Like I said, I have no more risk anymore. I can't possibly take a loss. And then incrementally, I move them up, which is what I was just going to get to, where I was talking about taking profit. Let me get to that in 30 seconds. I just want to see if there's any other anybody else in the chat here said anything that I should respond to. For horizontal 382 also looks like a support. Strong support. Somebody said that the 382 looks like a strong support from... Not really. I mean, it had support here, and it had support there, but not as definitive as that. So there were two supports there. It also broke out substantially above it and then came back down. So you had one support there, one support there. In this case, if I just had this one bounce, I wouldn't have been so confident. But then we had the second bounce, and then we had the third bounce, and then we had the fourth bounce. And each one of those bounces contained at least 2 hourly candles. So we essentially had like 10, 12 supports over a couple days where that line held incredibly strong. We also had my EMAs that were coming down. My EMA strategy is a very big part of how I trade. I also had strong bullish divergence on the RSI, so there's a lot more that goes into it. It's not just, oh, there's the price bounced off of $1.16. Let's put all of our money into it. There's obviously a lot that goes into it, which is why I said it takes a lot of time. You have to learn how to find these supports and identify those supports that are going to give you the best chance of success. In this case, initially, I just spotted the support, the actual support. I saw what was happening where the price was getting a very, very strong support at that level, and then I dove into it deeper. The only thing that was concerning me was the lower volume, but the consolidating price kind of explained that, so I wasn't too concerned about it. The EMA is coming down. That was giving us some compression where we were consolidating within that range, so we were probably looking at a breakout up or down either direction, and it very well could have been down, and that's the key. I could have been wrong, and it could have broken down, but if it did, I only would have lost $20 out of 1,000, while right now I'm up a couple $100. Well, I'm not because I didn't put that much money into it, but you get the point. Other comments. I see that the MACD is also about to cross over now. I'm not looking at the MACD. I wouldn't enter at this point. Oh, you could. I mean, it's retracing, and it's going to make another move up into the next wave, but I wouldn't enter with the RSI this high right now. I have no problem. If I see a play that's like a really good play, I posted about BNB last night, and I was like, guys, look at this BNB. Find my tweet. Or I'll show you the chart. Hold on. Where I specifically said, like, BNB is absolutely incredible. It looks super strong. Oh, I can't find it. Let's do BNB USDT. I might have not saved that chart because I had put a whole bunch of stuff on it, but I don't know if I actually saved it. BNB BTC, is it that one? No, I would have done it on the USDT. Oh yeah, here we go. So this did exactly what I called. I was on point with this trade. I just wasn't watching it, and I just missed this a few hours ago. So I specifically said, I'm pissed that I missed this, and this wasn't about the recent breakout. This was about the entire move. I actually spotted this early on, and I thought, look at that bullish divergence. This is a great high potential play. I never did anything with it, and then it went on this really strong run. Then it got up to this point, and I said, I actually said that this 3 was a little high and more likely it would come down lower, but I said, I'm pissed that I missed this. I wanted to retrace, and then I'll be able to get in. It retraced to pretty much exactly where I thought it was going to retrace to. After I adjusted, I posted in a tweet that I was going to, I said shift this down, so the 3 and 4 shift down, and the 3 goes essentially to the 0.5. So the 0.4 would have been right around here. So bounced right off the top of the Ichimoku cloud. The bounce would have occurred exactly where I expected it to, and I missed it again. So I got 2 misses on plays that I called and knew were going to happen on BNB. So that kind of sucked. I would have gotten into this newest move right here, which is already up 4%. I mean, you could actually get it now. This is the start of wave 5. This might not be a bad trade. If you look at where it bounced, it got support from the EMA, which is one of my key supports, the 99 EMA. It bounced really hard off of that. It's now back above the 55. It's got support from leading span A of the Ichimoku cloud. So theoretically, you could enter a trade right here. This is from an old theoretical trade I did. I can enter a trade right here and take on, right below the 3A2, a 2.9% risk. So if you were to enter right now, your risk would be 2.9%. So you have support from the 3A2 fib, which hasn't really held up too well prior. But more importantly, you have the EMA and the Fibonacci, Ichimoku cloud and the 55 EMA. both giving us support. So could it break back down and you lose 2.9%? Absolutely. You could take a loss of 3%. But if it doesn't, if it goes up and gets above that 0.5 fib and even up to the 618 fib, you're going to lock in your initial investment, so you're not going to take any loss because you're going to move your stop loss up to your entry price. Now it's completely risk-free and you can't possibly take a loss, and you'll have an opportunity to move it up and lock in more profits. So BNB could be a really good trade right now, which brings me to my final point I wanted to share with you guys. Where I was getting to it before, and then I kind of went off on a tangent, which I do all the fucking time. Wait, here we go. So, taking profit, I pretty much don't take profit anymore. I very, very rarely will take profit now. What I mean by that is I don't sell. I pretty much never sell a position that I have until I get stopped out. That means the price comes down and it stops me out. Or that means the price goes up and it stops me out if I have a stop limit order set at a certain level above. But I don't usually do that either, and this is why. More often than not, you'll sell a position and then you'll feel afterwards like, shit, I wish I waited longer. It just went up another 7%. Damn, I missed that opportunity. Oh, shit. My food's ready. Timer's going off. So you know how that always happens to you guys? I'm sure you've all been through it, right? So you have TRX and then you sell it at 16 cents and then an hour later it's at 22 cents and you're kicking yourself in the ass saying like, shit, I mean, it's great that I took a 5% profit, but I could have had a 20% profit. This sucks. You don't have to worry about that anymore if you finesse your, if you use well-designed strategy that locks in and assures you profits. So this is the way it would work. The same as the way my initial entry works, where I enter with a shallow stop loss and then I move my stop loss up to my entry price to lock in my initial investment, so I'm now trading risk-free. Same thing. If you see the price right here is going to get above that 0.5 fib, and then the price is going to be at $14.60. If you were going to take profit there because you bought much, much lower, instead of taking profit there, move your stop loss up from where it is to right below the 382. So now you're risking a little bit because if it drops back down, you're going to lose a little bit of that profit you would have had, right? But more often than not, it's going to keep going. So think about what's happened in the past. All the times you've sold a position. Have you sold it and then it's gone up more and you were pissed? Or have you sold it and then it went immediately right down and then you were really happy you got out in time? I'd be willing to bet.
I don't think I've ever been happy when closing a trade.
Yep. I'd be willing to bet anybody that the former has happened a hell of a lot more than the latter. Like, there have been a ton of trades where I'll sell it, and then an hour later, the thing is up another 12%, and I'm pissed that I sold it so early. It's very rare that I would sell, and then an hour later, the thing collapses, and I'm like, nice, perfect timing to get out. I was really on point. It happens sometimes, because I happen to be really good at targeting those spots. But I'm not perfect, and there have been a lot of times where I sold where I could have gotten a lot more if I waited. The problem is you don't want to wait and be greedy because we've all learned our lesson. If you're super greedy, it's going to bite you in the ass and you're going to get your ass kicked, right? So here's the solution. Instead of waiting to sell and then taking on all that risk, just move up your stop loss. So if you're right one time, so say in this instance, the price gets up to $14.60, we move our stop loss up to $14. Then the price comes back down and stops us out at $14. All right, we lost a little bit of our profit back because it went back to 14. We took a chance and we lost, whatever. But if it keeps going up to $15.30, now we can move our stop loss up to $14.60. And now you're locking in the exact same profit you would have had if you did sell at that point. So if you actually did take profit at $14.60, you would have had X. Now we've moved our stop losses up to that exact same price. So now you're definitely going to have X profit plus Y, whatever it's going to go up from here. So if it goes up from that price, if it goes up an additional, say 10%, and you end up, and then it goes up to like $16, great. You can keep incrementally moving up your stop loss and lock in more profits. So I never take profit. I lock in my profits. I guarantee myself those profits instead of just taking them. Does everybody understand that? Anybody have any questions about that? Let's see. Can you chart TRX? I hate Tron, dude. I have no intention of charting TRX. Sorry, I really hate it. It sucks. Tron sucks. You can't really chart it. It's too temperamental. Somebody can come out with a news article that says Justin's son stubbed his toe on the desk and asked for his mommy, and then people can be like, "Oh, Justin's son's a pussy. We're not investing in Tron anymore." Then the price is going to collapse. It's ridiculous. You can't really chart it with a level of confidence that I'm comfortable with. I have in the past. I've called some plays on Tron in the past, but I'm just not confident enough to really trade on it. And there's other coins I'd much rather spend my time on. But if I do find myself with a Tron chart in front of me, obviously I'd be happy to chart it for you and post it. It's just unrare. It's rare that I actually find myself in that position. All right, we got some questions here, right? I wish Binance had a trailing stop. This could be perfect for your strategy. So I don't recommend that people use services that require APIs because APIs are a big security vulnerability. I've tweeted about some of them before. We've seen hacks with the Viacoin hack, right? So somebody takes over an API, even though they're not hacked into Binance directly. They use that API to sell everything that's in your portfolio. So you have all Bitcoin. Then they use your Bitcoin to buy all Viacoin. It pumps up the price. They can then sell their own Viacoin at 1,000% profit, and they walk away with a huge profit without actually having to hack into the platform, the trading platform itself. So it's a big risk to have an open entry point into your account. So I don't suggest that you use an API, but if you would like to take on that risk, 3 Commas is a service that actually is really cool, and it allows you to set trailing stop losses. You can set it up to automatically sell your Bitcoin to Tether if you get stopped into Bitcoin, stuff like that. I have a link for my 3 Commas account. If you are going to sign up for it, I would appreciate it if you could use my my link. It's in the links section of the Discord group. You don't have to, but if you did and you end up using it and making a lot of money and trading with it, I could potentially get money out of it. So I like to share my referral links. But that is an option if you wanted to use a service like that. Just be aware you're using an API, which is opening up a door to your account that someone could potentially hack into someday. What kind of percentage? What about ADA? I like INS. Wings isn't bad. I don't have time now to do chart requests. I'm gonna do that with the private group. We're gonna do a live stream when we're finished here. I just want to do basic intro to the strategy and educational content, so you guys can play along, because I know a lot of people aren't in the private group, but at least if I could share my strategy with you, hopefully you can start learning and start practicing and get better. So I figured it would be good to help. I don't have time to do chart requests, like I said, but Wings, ADA, INS. I like INS actually. I had a big INS position a while back, but I'm not in it right now. I wouldn't be against getting back into it. I just haven't seen a trade, but if I do see a trade on INS, I'd be happy to post that on Twitter. I'll take a look at it later. Maybe I'll look at it with the group when we do our live stream. See if there's anything good that can be pulled out of it. Let me just make a note. I'm going to take a look at Wings and INS. Got any tips for learning TA? I don't know, man. I could tell you to join my private group. I'll teach you everything I know. Anybody who's in the private group, if you go to my public group on
join the private group, faggots. Endorsed.
That's a ringing endorsement. So if you check the public group, just ask private group members what they think. So instead of me telling you, "Oh, my group's great, I'm amazing, give me your money," just ask people who actually are in the group, and if they say something negative, then I'm fine with that. But at least they'll tell you the truth. And if you want, just ask somebody in the private group to DM you, so that way I can't see it, and that way if they do want to say something negative, they can say whatever they want. I'm confident that there's very, very few people who have ever been in the group that haven't been happy. The people who haven't concede to me hey, I don't have the time to really trade and to really work on learning, so I haven't been active. But they don't blame me. They obviously like the strategy, they just don't have time. So if you want, you could join the paid group. If that's not your bag, that's totally cool. I would follow people who offer free content. I put out free content, but obviously it's pretty limited because I dedicate a substantial majority of my time to the private group and to my wife and to life. But I would do all free content if I had the time and the money wasn't an issue. There are other people who have more time or more money than me, and they offer more free content. Try following them. They could potentially give you some tips that'll help you to learn TA. But I would definitely consider a paid group. Even if it's not mine, that's fine. But if you find the right paid group, there are people out there who know what they're doing, and they really have a passion for sharing that expertise or sharing that experience with other people like I do. So if you can find somebody like that, again, even if it's not me, I don't care if you join my group, but consider joining a paid group. It's not a bad thing that somebody has a paid group. It means that people are willing to pay them for their knowledge. If anything, it's an endorsement that they know what the hell they're talking about. Because if I was just some asshole who didn't know what I was actually talking about, I highly doubt I'd have several hundred members in my paid group willing to give me their money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think people would be giving me their money to teach them if I was just some asshole who didn't know anything. Anyway, that's it. I will post this. I'll just post it. It's fine. If some of you guys haven't seen the whole thing or anything, or if you had to like run out, I'll just leave this up so everybody else can see it too. And we'll do this again sometime. Again, it's always better to join the actual live stream, because if you're in the live stream, you could ask questions, and as you've seen, I'll answer any question. I don't care. And you guys could also DM me on Twitter or Discord anytime with any questions. I'm happy to help if I have the time. I will definitely I'll definitely do whatever I can to help. There are some paid group members in here because I had them join this one, and then we're going to go and do our own one. So if you want to talk to any paid group members, go on the public Discord group. I have the link everywhere. It's on the website, toolfreecrypto.com. Just go to public group, and there's a bunch of people in there. Anybody whose name shows up as purple is in the premium group. Anybody whose name shows up as blue is in the basic group, and then everybody else is in the public group or whatever. So yeah, find somebody and you could ask around. And if you want to join, I'd be happy to have you. So thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. Again, I'm going to post this if you guys wanted to rewatch it. I speak fast sometimes, so if you guys wanted to rewatch it and see, some of the stuff we talked about again, you can go ahead and do that. It should be the same link. So once this finishes uploading, it'll be at the same link you went to access this live stream. But I'll repost it anyway. All right, guys. Thanks for coming by. Later.